Good evening, I'm Cynthia Mulligan. The controversial debate over doctor-assisted dying in our country is about to get even louder. The federal government is outlining its plans to let Canadians suffering from incurable diseases get medical help to end their lives.
The proposed legislation would allow competent adult patients who are suffering intolerably from serious and incurable medical conditions to apply for a peaceful death instead of prolonged, frightening, painful, or undignified deaths that they may otherwise face.
If passed, the new law would allow people suffering intolerably from physical illnesses or disabilities to seek a physician-assisted death. They would need to be on course towards the end of life and make a written request or have someone do so for them. That request would then need to be signed by 2 witnesses and evaluated by 2 doctors or authorized nurses. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says there is still more that needs to be done.
We know we have a lot of work to do around palliative care and quality end-of-life care, and not just ending life issues. And these things are issues that I am, quite frankly, extremely proud to be part of a parliament that has approached this in as thoughtful and responsible way as Canadians expect us to.
Some things the bill does not address include physician-assisted death for mature minors, people with mental illnesses, and those who have issued advanced directives, such as a living will. The government says it is launching independent studies to find out how to deal with those issues. And some are accusing the government of overstepping its bounds with the proposed law change. Others fear they're not doing enough. Today, I spoke with a woman living with MS who says this bill presents obstacles to those living with devastating illnesses. Months ago, she was hopeful she would be able to die as she chose. Today, she's devastated.
It would have been much better if I'd been diagnosed with some aggressive form of cancer, because then I could be assured, hopefully, of accessing a physician-assisted death when the end got near. But it doesn't seem like I'm going to have that right. Yes, this is
Linda Jarrett isn't afraid of dying, but she is afraid of not living well. She has MS and fears she won't be able to have a doctor-assisted death. Under the federal government's new bill introduced today, to qualify to die at the time of her choosing, death must be foreseeable. But in Linda's case, her disease could leave her incapacitated long before her death is imminent. A grim future she can't accept.
I'll have to have a catheter or be lifted to the toilet to relieve myself. I will have to be fed. I do not want that kind of life. I feel that the legislation being proposed is not giving me the rights that the Supreme Court seemed to give me 14 months ago. So I'm disappointed, I'm angry.
14 months ago, when the Supreme Court unanimously ruled physician-assisted deaths should be decriminalized, Linda was ecstatic, confident she could die the way she wanted. Other Dying with Dignity advocates say this new bill falls far short of the highest court's ruling and the recommendations of a federal committee because people with dementia or Alzheimer's and other degenerative diseases can't make their wishes for a doctor-assisted death known in advance.
We fear that the ban on advance requests will mean that people with dementia or other catastrophic degenerative illnesses will face a cruel and inhumane choice, either to take their own lives too early while they may have months or even years of wonderful quality of life left, or to risk waiting until their bodies and minds betray them and they spiral into what they would self-define as a horrific death.
And that is what is weighing on Linda's mind today. She's already considering the option of taking her life while she is still physically able, before she can't enjoy this simple act of taking a sip of water.
That dangling of the option possible of a physician-assisted death when I said enough is enough, I want to go now peacefully. That's being yanked away from me again, and that upsets me, makes me question, how am I going to deal with this?
Ironically, Linda Jarrett believes even Sue Rodriguez, the woman who led the charge for assisted dying in the 90s, would not qualify under this new bill. Rodriguez had ALS. She took her battle for the right to die to the Supreme Court in 1993 and narrowly lost. An anonymous doctor helped her end her life in British Columbia the following year. She once famously asked, "Whose body is this? Who owns my life?"